Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be heading into the third game between Rain and FXO.
Yeah.
We right now have a score of a 1-1, and it will be Artist versus DTG Start, which is actually
AKA FXO Lucky.
So let's go ahead and check it out right now. Now, for those of you at home that don't know who Lucky is, he actually came in second
At IPL3.
at IPL3.
He lost to Stefano.
Yeah, who was relatively unknown there.
Yeah, I mean...
he was on the rise.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely on the rise. But, I mean, he was known. People throughout Europe especially were like, Stefano's a pretty good player, man.
Yeah.
And then he just... I mean, he first gained a lot of attention because he actually won one of the IPL qualifiers to get his trip to IPL3 paid. And he beat... I think in that qualifier, he beat MMA and Marine King.
Yes.
And then I think
That's
he's
insane.
also beaten them at other tournaments too. Like, he's beat Marine King, I think, multiple times at LAN events. And in fact, I'm going to find out.
Yeah, it was pretty insane how good Stefano was. And unfortunately, Lucky, although he was so close to that first place, he did get just completely trounced by Stefano. But that was a little bit ago. We do know that Lucky is very talented. We haven't really seen him arise much in the foreign scene, but I'm interested to see how he actually fares up against Artist, who is another Korean player that has just been absolutely smashing. I can't believe I just said smashing.
He was smashing.
Smashing!
No crikey. Yeah,
Maybe I'm playing too much Han.
seriously. Yeah, you're definitely... Actually, you are definitely playing too much on.
I'm playing a lot of StarCraft too, though.
Yeah. Yeah, so Stefano 2-0'd Marine King at ESWC.
Easy.
He did lose to Boxer at MLG Orlando. I think that was a pretty big shock. Who else has he beaten? He beat the STC, and he beat Boxer at IPL3 and then lost to him at MLG Orlando. So that was interesting. Anyways, basically Stefano is really good, but this is FXO Lucky we're talking about.
Yep. Lucky is going and scouting out Artist. He sees that Artist is going for no gas, so that implies, of course, that it will be a gasless fast expansion. Most likely, now it could be something like, 4 racks all at once, and then he just goes for a big all-in. But I highly doubt that's going to happen because I already saw the command center being made. So I said that whole thing while I already knew the command center was
He could go for 5 racks, but he didn't.
Well, you know what? He could go 5 racks still. I'm not going to count it out just yet.
Yeah, kind of. You know how the Zergs do that fast expand and then
No. I'm serious.
Cancel it,
I'm
make
serious,
the Roach Warren, and then go all in. He could cancel that command center at the last second and then make 4 barracks immediately.
Headshot.
That would be like the most.
That's what Cloud did against Sen in the NASL Season 1. And that's what TLO did against Chef in NASL.
Yeah, I remember that game.
The Cloud game was on the Shattered Temple close positions 12 versus 3. The Chef TLO game was...
That was right before
Backwater
we removed. That was right before we removed close positions. that was pretty cheeky of Cloud to do that. But
No. That wasn't close positions. That was 12 versus 3.
Ah, sorry. Close air.
Nub.
But you know who did get close positions versus Sen on Metal? Boxer.
Yeah, and Boxer thrashed him.
Yeah, Boxer
That was sad face.
won that game of StarCraft quite handily, I would say.
It's pretty tough.
So yeah, Artist got his expansion. He's got a bunker. He's pretty safe. Getting that factory down and a reactor. So we are going to see reactor Hellions. Kind of a different timing than you normally see. Usually, you get the reactor Hellion and then expand behind it, I think. But reactor Hellions are still powerful against Zerg. Either way, just a slightly different timing. But I think it might be a good thing for Artist because the timing is strange. You know, Lucky isn't going to be expecting it. He might not throw enough defense down. He is going to get that spine preemptively because he's a smart player. So we'll see. We'll have to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that he did get that spine crawler. I understand where he's coming from, but he already sees the orbital command center. I think this is actually a little bit too early, but that's okay. I mean, it's minor efficiency problems, but it's really not going to impact the game too much.
Now, do you think Artist is going to get a Banshee right now?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so easy to see, of course, because the tech lab is being built right next to it. But yeah, I do expect this to be lifted off, and then the starport going to exchange. And it makes sense because he's investing so much in these SCVs going and mining gas. You have to use it somewhere. It's not going to be through the factory tech, because the factory is obviously a red flame or a reactor factory, so that's not going to produce any upgrades. So we will see Cloak and Banshees.
Or as Binsky Light says, Cloakshi.
Cloakshi.
Cloakshies. But I don't think he's going to get Cloak. I mean, I can't imagine that he would. Although...
Just you wait, Duran Parsi.
Okay, I will wait. But 11 Roaches and Baneling Nest coming down. It doesn't look like Lucky is going to be having any of it. And Artist is supply blocked right now, so that's not a good thing. He's probably going to get a pretty decent amount of damage done with that Banshee, but is he going to be able to hold the all-in that seems like it's coming?
Yeah, it's going to be a Zergling, Baneling, Roach all-in, it looks like. The Roaches are just massing up right now. He's actually going to try to hide these as much as possible. The Hellions actually poke in there a little bit just to see a Spine Crawler.
But I think he's going to scout it right now because Lucky decides that it's time to go. And Artist is getting close to supply blocking himself again. Is a little bit off with his depot timings, but yeah, he's trying to kite those Roaches, and now he even reveals the Banshee too, so Lucky's going to have a pretty adequate time to prepare for this. But I like the fact that Artist is attacking the Roaches with his Banshee because he's most likely only going to get a couple drone kills. Slowing down this attack would do much, much more benefit to Artist right now, because if this attack comes in the next 30 seconds before these two bunkers finish, he's in a lot of trouble. But
well, we'll see. There's a lot of Banelings being morphed all the way in the top middle position. Yeah. So it wasn't Cloak. You are right, Duran Parsi. Apparently you should be a pro gamer.
Well, apparently I should.
Apparently. God.
4 bunkers up now from Artist,
Love
so he is
that.
safe. And I love the spacing between them too, because it's really like multiple lines of defense. And this Banshee's taking out a lot of these Banelings, and this is a great job. And Lucky's not going to be able to do anything to this. I mean, he's going to kill the first line, but then Artist says, I don't care, I still have 2 more bunkers. He has no more Banelings left.
That's exactly right. And Artist gets a massive advantage from that, because that delays the tech for so long. You can see the layers just started now,
and there's no third base.
And when you're like that as a Zerg player going up against a pretty well situated Terran,
looks supply blocked again from Artist.
It's gonna be tough.
Really slowing him down this game,
for sure.
But yeah, I mean, what Artist is doing is his siege mode is done. He's probably going to be pushing out once that stim finishes. He's going to push out. He's probably going to take that third, and then look to be a little bit aggressive because he has a pretty nice advantage right now. He actually has the Banshee over by the third of Lucky, so he knows that there's no third base.
Yep, big drop coming in as well. Stim has just finished, so he will be able to supercharge these Marines as soon as they drop in. Looks like all the Overlords... Oh, okay, because this one Viking, of course. One Viking is going to be sniping all these Overlords. The dropship actually wants a... Oh, he actually goes in range of the Overlords. I would have loved him not to.
Yeah. The Queens are going to be right there to intercept it. Not going to really do anything. And, oh my god, if this medevac gets taken out. And what? Wow, Artist was not paying attention at all. And that... Oh, the medevac is going to die.
No bueno.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a brain fart there by Artist, and I think he didn't push out because he scouted that there was no third. So he figures if there's no third, it must mean that Lucky has a lot more units than he should be having right now. So he decided to not attack.
It could be something like that. That's very important to actually keep in mind. Like, oh, my opponent isn't on 3 base. Let me go ahead and just relax. But I think it's just overall better to just sit at this point, do some harassment, understand where your opponent is, and then just take an expansion. A 3-base Terran is probably the best type of Terran pushing capacity, or a 3-base Terran has the best pushing capacity, I think, over any other, even 4-base, just because you're streamlined on 3-base. So going up to this 3-base very quickly, staying defensive, harassing as always, making sure your opponent is, you know, getting the necessary defensive, having that indirect damage, making units, things like that. Right. That's going to be the most important things to do while you're going ahead and taking your expansion.
I really like this Viking, except I really don't like that Artist basically forgot about it, and it dies. I mean, the Viking is something that Terran players don't do very often, but I think it's a really smart idea. It really clears away vision from the Zerg player. And I think it's really important because actually Lucky really doesn't have any idea that this push is coming in right now. And I like the fact also that Lucky, that Artist hit those tanks in the medevac.
Yeah, that's been something very common lately that I've been seeing a lot more both in TVZ and TVP. We can see the third is under attack here. Is there enough units at this point for Lucky to do anything about this? And no, of course not. The third goes down, and there needs to be a big scan pretty soon. I would hope that actually happens. There it goes down, clearing out that creep tumor, but the mutas won't have any of that still. The mutas are a little bit too late, and I think they're going to be in a lot of trouble come the first engagement.
But the Banshee does get taken out. There are mutalists, so you know, Artis does have to back off, but I mean, he is in a great position. 3 base versus 2 base. If I was a Terran player, I would be a very happy camper if I was in Artist's position. But we do have a counterattack going to the third of Artist, and this might be Lucky's chance to kind of get back in the game. But there is a planetary fortress there, so these Lings are going to get taken out. And
ooh, that was not a good trade.
No.
Ling Muta against Planetary Fortress Marine is not a position you want to be at. Of course, those mutas actually got picked up really fast because there is +1 attack. It looks like no +1 missile or flyer attacks are being upgraded for those mutas. So the mutas are going to be pretty weak, especially when this 1/1 kicks in. They're going to be doing obviously 3 less damage. I should say not 1 less, 3 less damage due to the fact that those glaives hit 2 different times after they actually hit first hit. So it's a total of 3 times. It's going to negate that quite a bit. But yep, for the most part, Artist, he's on 3 base. He's going to be getting his macro together, not supply cap, and he will be pushing out relatively soon.
Yeah, definitely in the mid game, he's been much better about getting those depots up in time. And I mean, his supply right now is indicative of that. And Lucky is trying. He's double expanding, which I think is one thing that he kind of has to do. But his army is just so measly right now. If you look at the army counts, wow, Artist is just so far ahead. I mean, yeah, there's really nothing Lucky can do. Lucky needs to really sit back and hope he can max. And I also don't like his decision. He's not really teching to anything right now. He doesn't have infestors coming. He doesn't have a hive coming. He's just going to be purely on Ling, Baneling, and Muta. And Artis, his unit composition is just so good against that.
Little drop in the bottom middle position over here. The hatchery is going to be taken out. There's nothing to actually contest this. Finally, Roaches and Banelings are going to move over here. Is it going to be enough time? The Marines and Marauders are actually not going to go and engage directly onto that hatchery, so all the units will be cleaned up, thankfully, for Lucky. But look at this. As that happens, a big push is occurring. 193 supply for Artist at this point. Lucky is on the back foot. He needs to do something because his creep is going to start receding as the creep tumors were just cleared out by all those Marines.
Yeah, and wow, Artist is looking super strong. He's in a great position right now. He's going to push to the 4th base of Lucky, and he is going to be taking that out. He didn't take it out with a drop, but he's going to come back and finish what he started. That 4th gets taken out, and a drop in the main of Lucky gets taken out. Doesn't do very much damage at all. But what I like about Artist dropping like that is it moves most of Lucky's forces away, and it's going to allow him to push the 3rd and establish himself with a really good position, which is actually what he's doing right now.
Yep, and this is the perfect position for him. You can see that the Marines and Marauders are going to snipe off this one hatcher. The Queen is going to go down as well. In the meantime, there's a big counterattack option, though, for Lucky. Lucky is going in directly with the Banelings. They're already... Oh, there's already siege tanks. Oh, no. Lead with your Zerglings. Oh, no, this is going to be bad. The mutas are going to directly fire upon those siege tanks. Artist is going to sprint his Marines up onto the high ground. The Banelings are actually splattering on units that aren't Marines. That's not what you want. The Marines have to do enough damage, but or excuse me, the Marines have to be targeted so your army can actually do something. But at this point, I mean, look at this. Lucky does not have a lot of units left. I think just the reinforcements will be able to clean this up, as units are coming all the way from the 3rd back home. Artist cleans up this attack and is way ahead since he's on 3 bases. His opponent is only on 2.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the army count, you're like, oh, wow, look, you know, Lucky has a pretty nice army right now. If you look at the income count, okay, lots of minerals. I mean, lots of workers, sorry. So the thing you want to think about is a mined out main. The 3rd is dead, the 4th is dead. So really it's like 1 base versus 2 bases right now. I mean, I don't really think Lucky handled that counterattack as well as he could have. I think it would have been a better idea if he killed the 3rd. What do you think, Andre?
Yeah, well, honestly, he was in a terrible position. You cannot lose your third at that position. He just was baited way too much, but I think actually going for the production line was the correct decision because you want to try to end the game, not just play the war of attrition. Because, okay, so I lose my third, you lose your third. Well, technically I'm behind just because you've been ahead all game long. So I think going for the production was okay, but here we go, another engagement right here. A nice split with the Marines. Is it going to be enough? There's so many banelings in here. Big siege tanks to fire on actually most of those banelings.
Yeah,
and a lot of them burrowed, so he has to be very careful to walk upon that area because one little baneling mine can make the difference in this game as it is getting to that low economy state. The natural is starting to mine out for Artist, and Lucky is just now trying to take his third. He's long distance mining from there too.
I love the Thor there by Artist. That's a really great late game.
Oh no!
Oh wow!
Oh,
let's watch.
This is not going to be good.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Ah.
Wow!
He missed.
Big Marine hit.
Yeah, that was
it was still pretty big,
but
man.
It could have been bigger, man. Yeah.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. That's exactly what he needed to happen.
Yeah.
And he got it done. So let's see if that actually does enough. The supplies are still 183 to 147, and we might have a little tiny engagement right here.
Yeah, you can see that Artist is actually long distance mining too from that fourth base. I mean, it's better to long distance mine from a fourth when you already have a third set up. Yeah, wow. Lucky has reestablished his third, so it's not like he's dead. I mean, he's not dead at all. I mean, he just needs to be very, very careful. He can't afford to lose another major engagement. That's basically the position he's in. I think Burrowed Banelings would be a great job, a great thing for him to have right now, but it's a little bit too late. Artist is kind of gearing towards Lucky's side of the map with his forces. And
yeah. And you know what? I think very critically is that Lucky doesn't really have a force that can deal with any amount of Marines. I mean, look at his mutas. He has 0-0. His opponent's Marines are 2-2 right now, going on 3-2. That means mutas are basically useless against Marines at this point because they're going to trade so cost inefficiently. It won't even be worth it, in my opinion, to actually try to have any big engagement. That's why he has to play this counterattacking game.
Yeah. Plus, there's a Thor. So he really can't engage this army head-on. What he needs to do is he needs to rely on Burrowed Banes, basically, to slow down the Terran and make him too paranoid to push out. But Artist is going to push again to that third, and Lucky is pulling his drones preemptively. He knows he's lost that because his units are so out of position. And here comes a counterattack that's just going to get eaten up, and
there it goes.
Yeah. Goes up 2-1 against FXO, and this is pretty surprising, from my opinion.
Yeah, nice little turnaround. Of course, FXO started off with a very decisive win over Slush. Now Artist just makes Lucky look really, really easy. That's what we've been saying. Actually, we say this off camera, but Artist is one of those players that is so scary, especially on the foreign teams. He is so scary. You just saw overall amazing play that game, and he was able to make Lucky, the runner-up in IPL 3, look really, really silly.
Yeah, no, I mean, Artist played that game really well. His unit composition was so good that Lucky really couldn't attack him head-on at all. And he had to go for these really indecisive counterattacks. And I think one of the biggest problems for Lucky that game was the fact that he was so indecisive. You know, especially on the big counterattack after he lost his fourth and third, he was kind of like, should I kill the third? Should I kill the natural? He didn't know what to do, and that waiting allowed Artist to get his defense set up so that by the time he barreled through to the natural, Artist lost all of his forces, but Lucky pretty much lost his entire army in the process. So then all Artist had to do was come back, kill the stuff, and then push out it once again.
Yeah, and I do want to finally mention the mutas not being upgraded. That is like a cardinal sin in TVZ. If you want to stick on that high Zerg vs. Terran muta count, you have to get upgrades. You got to get at least the attack flyer upgrades. I love to see Carapace as well, but I understand it's hard to get that, but at least the attack upgrade. But when you're going up against 2-2 Marines and you're 0-0, I don't care what you are. Even ultras die fast to bio. So not something that you really want to see. But again, Artists just playing so well. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to Rain for taking a 2-1. We're actually going to be moving into the next game in a little bit. Game number 4. Everybody stay tuned. Rain versus Team FXO coming up after this break.